Well, good evening, lovely souls. So thank you so much for joining me again. Another week went by. Can you believe it? Time is flying by so quickly and it is waiting on no one. Again, thank you for joining me. If this is your very first time joining or watching, my name is Dr. Williams, aka Queen, and this is my regular every Sunday Making It Make Sense Bible review. This is my personal journey, right? So I'm inviting you on a personal journey to figure out about the Bible, some of these parables and descriptions that's used that's not very how would you say, not very relevant to today. And so I try to get into the weeds and just trying to understand what's going on. So thank you for joining me on my personal journey. With that being said, though, please be aware I am not ordained. I am not someone of the cloth who's a pastor or bishop or deacons or anything like that. Honestly, I am just a child of God who he brought up from such a dire state where I raised up, immigrated here, and I came in and joined the military. And I went from being a private to a lieutenant colonel and many things. And what a blessing that I'm also a cancer doctor. So now I'm taking some time to go through and just trying to spend some time in the Word. I've spent so much time studying and so much time going through the military. And it's like, wait a minute, I want to get to know the Word too, right? So thanks for joining me. If you're on Facebook, I'm at Queen the Maven. Please do follow there. And if you're on YouTube, I'm at Queen Quanta. Subscribe, like, ring the bell. You can see I'm a newbie. I don't do all that stuff, but I'm getting there. So thank you for joining me. Let's see, what do we have going on this week? So we're changing up a little bit, and we went through Psalm 23, we went through Psalm 29, and let's see here. Good evening. Thank you for joining, Ramona. Bless you. Good evening to you as well. Let's see who else we got here. Charlotte. Hey, back in Maryland. Thank you so much for joining me, Charlotte. And please do remember, share this. Have other people join. I welcome comments because look, I'm learning. Despite all the alphabets soup before and after my name, this is such a humble journey where I'm truly just trying to understand. So nothing you say will be offensive. I will take it and with a grain of salt and say, let's look at this, right? So today is going to be lots of fun, lots of fun. Let's see what we're going to do because I want to honor your time. It is Sunday. So let's get back into the word. All right. So today, y'all, I'm going to be talking about something I like to refer to as the entitlement disease. We're going to get into that. But people who knows you and think that everything you have should be theirs. Yeah. So I kind of had some issues trying to figure out what to title this, to be honest with you. But as we go through, you're going to see why. And we're just going to have a nice, friendly chat today. Um, oh, thank you for joining, Willa May. Thank you so much. That's okay. We're just getting started. We're trying to stay on time in my 25 minutes, no more than 30 minutes. So we're going to have fun. We're talking. Please, again, invite others because, again, I'm just a regular person whom God has blessed to attain much. And so now I want to take the time to try to get to learn his words and get closer to God. So today we're going to talk about the entitlement disease. Yes, entitlement disease. There are biblical references for saying no. And can I tell you, I had to discover that personally on many, many accounts. So let me go forward here and I'll give you the Bible references that we'll be using. The main passage will be Matthew 25, 1 through 13. And we'll make references here and there just to like Proverbs 4:23, where it says, guard your heart, Galatians 6:5, where we talk about each one should carry their own load, right? So you're supposed to try first. You just don't have stuff and dump it on someone. Don't pass the buck, right? Even God, even Jesus tried to carry his cross. And when it became too heavy for him, he got some assistance. So assistance is good. But first, you want to do your due diligence. Then James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. And one of the things I try to encourage you to do that I'm trying to do myself, see, I grew up in the Caribbean and everything we do is good old British. So I am very well versed in the Elizabethan type. So I'm a King James type of girl. But ever so often now, I'm getting into looking at the Message and the English Standard Version, the NIV, and they do break this down a little bit. So I encourage you to please, please, please do the same. So we're going to be doing Matthew 25, 113. I'm going to read through it first, but please do, if you'd like to follow on your own device, look it up yourself. I'm going to read through it, and then I'm going to relate a story, and then we're going to dive in a little bit more. So Matthew 25, 1 through 13. Again, this is fine. Don't mind it. I'm going to read through it for you. So not Psalm. See, we've been doing Psalm. Psalm is stuck in my head. So Matthew 25, 113. I'm going to quickly, briskly go through it. God's kingdom is like 10 young virgins who took oil lamps and went out to greet the bridegroom. Five were silly, or in the other version, they say foolish, and five were smart, or in some versions of the Bible, they say wise. The silly virgins took lamps, but no extra oil. The smart virgins took jars of oil to feed their lamps. The bridegroom didn't show up when they expected him, right? So not everything falls in the time and the manner you expect it to fall in. And so guess what? Like you, like me, they felt tired and they all fell asleep. In the middle of the night, someone yelled out, "He's here! The bridegroom is here! Go out and greet him." The 10 virgins got up and got their lamps ready. The silly virgins said to the smart ones, "Our lamps are going out. Lend us some of your oil." They answered, "There might not be enough to go around. Go buy your own." Hello, go get your own stuff. And that, my dear lovely souls, is another way of saying no. Like, absolutely not. Like, no, no, thank you. I'm not going to be sharing any of this with you. All right. So they said no there. They did, let me see, let me not skip. They did. So that is the silly verses. They went out, the silly virgins, they went out and they went and get their own oils. While they were out buying oil, though, the bridegroom arrived. When everyone who was there went out to greet him, had gone into the wedding feast, guess what they did? The door was locked. What does the door being locked mean for you? Right? In many cases, door being locked, that can refer to being, having a missed opportunity. I put these little notes there so that I can remember to mention those things. So, okay, a missed opportunity occurs. All right. So then what happened? Much later, the other virgins, they show up, like much, much later, they show up. But then they said, "Lord, Lord, let us in." And the master was like, "Who are you? We don't know you. Do I know you?" That's what God said. So the whole summation of this then said that you need to stay alert. You have no idea when the bridegroom is going to come, when the bridegroom is going to show up. So here's the deal. All right. Let me share something with you because it's important that I share and be transparent with you. So I have a family member, and this has been about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. They had some issues with parking tickets, right? So many parking tickets that it was affecting their life and ability to get a job, etc. So me being me, I'm thinking, okay, let me see how I can help. So I thought I'm going to write up a contract. So I'm going to pay these tickets so that you could get your life on track. And then, according to this contract, you're going to have to pay me back a certain amount at a certain time, et cetera, et cetera. So I was all set to go, y'all. Like, okay, yeah, let's do this. But guess what? As I was getting ready to write the contract and stuff, my husband stepped in and he said, this, this person is in trouble with the law. And they have the law on their side where they could garnish wage, they could put them in jail, they could do all these things. And they're still doing all this stuff, and you're going to be sharing your oil with them? Like, no. So I went back and I look at the ticket. I think this may have been like February. And wouldn't you know, there were tickets after ticket, and there was one just that December for what? Not wearing a seatbelt. So I said, hey, you have about 4 or 5 tickets for not wearing your seatbelt. The response was, oh, yeah, no big deal. I just don't like the way it feels. I'm like, you don't like the way the seatbelt feels on you. And here you are with all of this stuff. And I was about to share my oil. And luckily, my husband stepped in and be like, no, because if they're not going to follow the law and the law won't let them do stuff, why do you think a piece of paper from you is going to change anything? They're not going to pay you back. I had to pause for a minute. I was like, you know what? So I've gotten in the mode of, if I'm going to give something, I'd rather give it. I don't want to make a loan, because the issue of why they're in that situation to begin with, they're not going to get out of it that easy. So there has to be some wisdom applied to decision making process. And initially, I was like, well, if I have it, is that selfish to say no? Hmm. What do you think? Do you think it's selfish to say no? Or in what circumstance do you think it's selfish to say no to someone who needs something that you have? Right? And I don't really think that it's a selfish thing, because if you have an abundance and you can share, but again, you never know when you're going to need it. So it's sort of like a quandary for me, to be honest. Right? So if I have more than enough, let's talk about food. And I could share, but the way that prices are these days, this just dropped. Eggs. This may be the last time I eat some eggs. Do I want to give you my last 2, 3 eggs? Am I being selfish for saying, hey, you know what? You need to go buy your own eggs? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think it's selfish to say no? And at what point do you think it's selfish to say no? Right? Because I struggle with this, because honestly, I've been blessed and I try to help and I give and I learn and I listen. But at some point, you're going to know when someone is trying to take advantage of you. And you have to be prayerful about some of these things. So there is wisdom in saying no. And you have to know the difference between the wisdom of saying no and protecting the essential things that you need. So, what are some of those essential things that you need? What are some of those essential things that you really shouldn't be sharing or you just can't share? And that's why I went to Psalm. I keep saying Psalm, y'all, because I spent the last like couple months going over Psalm. That's why we went to Matthew 25 and truly look at what the virgins did. And I don't know why they chose virgins. Please don't let the thing that they say virgins cause you to trip. It can be any situation, right? It doesn't have to be, oh, it's a virgin and oil. That's what makes the Bible living, because you can apply it to so many situations. So this is not a story about virgins and oils. That's not what it's truly about. It's about learning how to be wise with the resources that God has blessed you with, and knowing how to apply wisdom and how to protect the essential stuff that you have. And in the Bible, some folks don't think this is biblical, but it is. That's what it is. We just went over with the virgin and their oils, right? You can't give away what little resources you have, especially when you don't know when the bridegroom is coming. Hmm? You don't know. And they didn't even say they'll share a little bit. They just straight up said, no, go get your own. You should have been prepared. See it? So people, they need to truly be prepared for the stuff that they have. And that's what it talk about, setting boundaries. In the Bible, Proverbs 4:23 said, guard your heart. Galatians 6:5 say each one should carry their own load. So if you're in need of something, you should eat by the sweat of your brow. You have to go get a job. You have to actively be, seeking. Um, and sharing. So let's see what y'all are saying here. So, Ramona, thank you. It's not being selfish, because the more you give, they will never take accountability. Yes, that's a big one there, indeed, right? Taking accountability is so important, and that's going to come up later as well. Folks do need to take accountability. And if we keep enabling, that's the word I'm looking for. There's a part about enabling and versus helping. You got to know the difference. Hi, Brenda. Thank you so much for joining me. And Ramona says, I pray about every situation. Yeah. You know what? I remember when I was in Jersey. That's been a while because I went to college in Jersey. It's been a while. And there was this big news about the people who were asking for money at the corner of the street. And I always tend to, have a little loose change that I can share and give to folks at there. And they showed the cameraman following this person that after he was finished begging, he drove up to he walked off to some fancy car. And it was such a big splash. Like, oh my gosh. So they were taking um, advantage of people's kind heart by asking for stuff when they were actually doing okay. And I remember specifically it was in Jersey because that's where I was at the time. I'm sure it occurs elsewhere. Folks from Jersey, don't come at me, please. I went to school and college there, Rutgers, Scarlet Knight, big shout out. But that's just where I had my experience. I'm sure some of you have had experience elsewhere too with something similar. Thank you for joining, Angelica. Appreciate you being here. And it's okay that you're just getting on. That's all right. We're getting in the nitty gritty of the wisdom of boundaries and saying no. So, all right. So, no, there's nothing wrong with being selfish. So, here is some of the reason why it's hard to say no for some folks, right? The cultural pressure. For us from the Caribbean, and there's some culture, and it's not just that it doesn't happen in the US. I'm sure it does as well, but for certain culture, it's expected that you're going to take care of your family. That as your parents age, they're supposed to come and live with you. Um, and so it's expected for you to want to please everyone, right? You're trying to make everyone happy. That can be a cultural a pressure because you have to be around these folks, you have to live with them, and you want to be a pleaser. You want to make everybody happy. But can I tell you, lovely souls, it doesn't work that way. No, people are just not going to be pleased with you all the time. So you have to make that decision. And yes, you want to help. At what cost? At what cost are you going to help? Is it a biblical step? And as I said that, you know what came to mind as I said that? The prophet Elijah. I think this is in Kings. It's in the Old Testament. Don't remember it's first or second Kings. I told y'all I am not of the cloth. I've read it and I know it's in Kings. But Elijah, he was during they were having what is it? They were having a time of drought, and he was being fed by the raven. They were bringing food and meat and bread to him, and he had water there. And I'm like, yuck, food from ravens, but hey, God works miracles, right? But when the brook dried up, he had to go in and he had to go to the widow. And the widow had this last bit of cornmeal or flour that she was just going to prepare some food and then feed herself and her son and die. So here is a situation where because of her discernment, she saw it was a man of God, and she knew that she had to do what he asked. Now, she didn't have to, but because of discernment and being prayerful, she realized, okay, I'm going to bake the cake for you first. And guess what? She never ran out of what she needed. So it's kind of this contrary stuff in the Bible where if you don't have a relationship with God and really seek God's face in making certain decisions, it's going to be confusing. It's just going to be. So your job is to get closer to Christ. Try to figure out which way you should go, when to help, when not to give away your last bit of oil, when it is that when are you enabling versus when are you helping? Then the reason why it's so hard for many people to say no is because this big fear of rejection. Some family, friend group, or church group, they're just tightly knit. And so if you say no to someone, then you may have that guilt and fear of being misunderstood, right? And then you may not have any friends, but you'll learn to enjoy your own company. You have to do that. And yes, we need to not be an island and all that good stuff, but saying no has to be part of who you are, because you'll end up enabling and trying to do God's work, and that's not for you to do. In this parable that Jesus spoke about with the wise and the foolish virgins, and about how the wise virgin said no. And the reason why no was said is because they didn't know how long they would have to be burning this oil for. So if you don't know what the end is, then you can't go away giving away everything, because then what are you going to have? And here's what I found out. Oh my goodness, thank you, Holy Spirit. Here's what I found out. Sometimes you give, and guess what? When you need, good luck trying to find someone who's there for you. And that is why, my dear friends, you have to lean on Jesus, because who knows? He may be sending the crows to you with some bread and meat. It may not be coming from who you expect. So when you give, do not give with the expectation that when you need, that person is going to give you back in return. Okay? Even though there's another parable I'm going to cover another time about someone who was dipping into the leader's money, and so that he could get back, but that's a whole nother thing we'll cover later. When you say yes all the time, it takes a toll on you. It does take a toll on you, right? There's burnout. You won't say nothing, but you're building up resentment against people who you keep saying yes to. Let's be honest and transparent, y'all. Come on, lovely souls. We're all learning here. There's going to be a toll. And we're going to talk about how to say no in a nice way. Yeah, I'm not like the queen of being politically correct, or so I've been told. But you don't want to build up resentment about a person, because guess what? You're going to fly off the handle on this person, and they're going to be like, well, what happened? That's because you've been building up resentment about the things they've been asking for, and about you helping all the time and handing out stuff all the time. So resentment will build up. And the other thing is the spiritual dryness, getting lukewarm because you're doing so much more than God intended you to do. So yeah, we got to take a look at that. So how are we going to apply this verse that we did today, this scripture in Matthew 25? How do we apply that to modern life? When no is the loving answer, remember we talk about enabling versus helping? You got to know sometimes saying no is the most loving thing you can do, right? So if you have a child that's 10, 11 years old, you come up with a nice car and they're saying, hey, can I drive your nice car? Saying no is a loving and safe thing to do, because it's not safe for them to take the car out on the road. There's just certain things that are not safe. You get to determine when saying no is a loving answer. You have to determine, am I enabling or am I truly helping this person? And you'll know, here is what I use to know if I'm enabling someone is, have they tried something on their own before? I'm not going to give you 100%. I'll give you 25. And then you're going to have to find, you should be working for 50% and get, 5% from somebody else, 5%, but you should be getting majority it on your own. Now, if you fall flat on your face because of life situation and we help you up once, we shouldn't have to help you up 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Then you are not learning, and now it's become an enabling factor, right? Spiritual, emotional, and practical oil. What exactly are your oils? Hmm? What is it that you are running low on? Are you running low on time? Lord knows I'm running low in energy because there's so much going on in our life right now. I'm definitely running low in energy. Drop in there, let me know what spiritual oil you're running low on. Is it time? Is it energy? Is it finance? Is it your spiritual discipline? That's why I do this, because I have great intention to get up and read the Bible and do things every day. And something always, it's a distractor. I call it the DD, the devil distractors, always something. And so with this, unless it's some kind of holiday, like next week is going to be Mother's Day, early happy Mother's Day. I won't be doing it next week. This is my growth. This is my getting into the Bible, my pausing and saying, how does this really work, God? How can I apply this to my life? How can I be a better steward, right? So what is your oil that you are running low on right now? Here's some example. Are you overcommitting at work? Are you overcommitting to family? That's a hard one. A lot of folks have difficult time saying no to family. Are you overcommitting to church? Oh, I remember growing up in Jamaica, we were in church all the time. When my mom, dedicated, oh, let me tell you, we were in church all day Sunday, then we eat dinner, went back for Sunday evening, then there was Wednesday service, and don't let it be a revival, because then it's every day of the week in the evening, then there was fast, and it was like, oh, I don't think, except for certain time, I could be wrong, please correct me, but sometimes I feel as though we do certain things just out of tradition, and because we're being told to do so, and it may not make sense all the time. And I really think God is sitting up there like, wait a minute, why are you doing all of these things? That's not what I want off you or ask off you. I wonder about that. I could be wrong, but that's why I'm prayerful and that's why I go through these things, right? It's like, are we overcommitting to friends? Are we overcommitting and over volunteering? And you go to bed late at night, wake up early, and you're tired. Like I'm tired right now. It's been a long week and so much going on. And so I'm going to bed late and I'm getting up early because I have to work. But the fact that I'm getting up and breathing, God has given me life. It's given me air in my lungs. How can I pause? Right? It's just a phase of gratitude. We just have to go through that phase of gratitude. And so here's some practical steps we can all work on. This is what I'm working on in practical steps, right? I want to do regular self-assessment. Do I have enough oil? So when someone is asking me for something, it's fine. It's okay. But I have to do that self-assessment. Can I truly do that? Hmm? And then there's accountability and support. It's okay to ask other people and share. Like my husband had to correct me and say, like, no, 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 no. If the law can't get them straight and they have all those thousands of dollars in tickets, and now I'm finding out it's simply because you don't feel like doing it. Like, yeah, no, what? My money don't feel like being shared right now. So it almost went past me. And that's why you have to have accountability and support. So finding a wise community whom, you could just beat something off of. It's just like, this person's asking me for this. I did it 2, 3, 4, 10 times already. Should I do it again? Like chances are the person who's wise will say, well, what have they done for themselves lately? Remember, the wise virgin told those foolish virgin, go into town, go get your own oil, because guess what? We ain't going to share with you. So you have to be in that community. Prayer and discernment before committing. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times that have saved me. So a simple script for saying no, right? You can create your own. But for me, my simple script, I'm just very, I don't know. I'm in a phase right now. And maybe I've been in that phase for over 10 years plus. I think it's the military and being Caribbean and just being me. I'm in a phase where I'm just going to be transparent and honest with you. So for me, it's not even a script. This is just me being me. Hey, Queen, we're going to have this. I think you'll be awesome. You'll be a great speaker. Can you do this for us? What I typically say is, oh, first of all, I always want to say thank you. So thank you for thinking of me for this opportunity. Wow, this sounds awesome. But I don't want to commit to this and then have other things. So let me not only check my calendar, but let me check with my husband. Let me check with the stuff and let me be prayerful because this may not be something God wants me to do at this moment. So can I get back with you? Or sometimes I just straight out say, you know what? That sounds like a great opportunity. I'm going to say no first because I've been so busy and I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. So I'm going to say no, but I'm going to still check my calendar and double check with me in about a week or two. And I will let you know if that no stands or if there's some flexibility. So you can either say wait first or let me check, or you just say no. I'm really tired right now. I'm overcommitted. I need rest. It's okay to say no. And you have to learn to say no kindly and don't feel guilty about it. Because guess what? When you get tired and you are burnt out, and let me tell you, as a physician, I have seen burnout firsthand. I was getting close to being burnt out. And can I tell you, lovely souls, I jumped off that treadmill so fast, people's heads were spinning. It's like, not in this one little short lifespan I've got. I'm not playing that game. I did my work. I'm done. Like, love you, but Sister Queen gotta go. Peace out. No, no, no. Sometimes some things aren't worth it. So be wise. It's okay to say no, but let them down gently. Be kind and be honest. You're the first person you lie to. So don't jump saying yes all the time. Just be honest and say, hey, I've been overcommitting myself. And right now it's no, but I could double check, or maybe it's just a no. So you have three options. One, no, I can't do this. Thank you for thinking about me. But always be humble, always be kind, always express gratitude. Thank you for thinking about me. But you look, I'm about to hire somebody to sleep for me. I'm so tired. So I can't commit right now. But thank you for thinking of me. Or you know what? Oh, that is such an exciting opportunity. I would love to speak at that woman's event. But let me get back with you. Can you give me like a week or two? Right? Oh, yeah, that sounds good. But whatever, learn to say no. Thank you, Charlotte. Yes, I'm trying to share wisdom because I've been there. I have been there. I have been there. Thank you. All right. So then your takeaway is quite simple, right? First thing is you have to recognize what's your oil. And we went over what some of those oils may be it finance, right? Be it your physical, spiritual. And some of us so worn out, we're getting challenges with diagnoses, right? Because when you're tired and worn out, you become immunocompromised. So you get sick faster. Maybe you are running around so much you're not exercising. Now you're tinkering on diabetes or high blood pressure. You got to take care of that body, right? So what's your oil? What is it that you have to say, look, it's holy. No can be holy and wise. Don't think no is a bad thing or you're hurting somebody's feeling. Think of no as I got to keep my oil. And this is holy. Like, ooh, let me tell you, was dishing out some holy no's. Like, no, 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 no. And when you are being transparent and honest, people have no choice but to understand. Okay? It's like, look, I would love to do it. Have done it in the past, but right now, so much going on in my family. There's so much stuff going on with me. It's no way I can say no. If no way I can say yes. If I say yes, chances are I won't show up, and I know you don't want that. So where is God prompting you to set boundaries, my sister friend and lovely brothers out there, my lovely souls? Where Where is God prompting you to set boundaries? And remember, Matthew 25, 1 through 13 is Jesus evaluates wisdom and he values being ready. So don't be just running around thinking, oh, well, no. Everything, we're trying to teach the kids that too. Everything takes effort and preparation. Yes, it does. So let's just quickly go over the scripture reference. We went in full and we talk about just the virgins and the oils and how to guard your heart, and each one should carry their own load, right? So they need to be trying first. You can't just do it for them. And if any of you lack wisdom, there's a whole bunch waiting for you. All you got to do is ask. So early happy Mother's Day, y'all. Yes, yes, yes. It's Mother's Day coming around. And this will be what? My second Mother's Day without my mom. And she will be missed. But look, I am going to be celebrating everything she taught me and poured into me. It's not a sad occasion. She lived a rich life and she poured into me. And now I'm sharing some of that with you. Mom will be missed, but there's so many people out there that's fallen into the role of being motherly to me. And I'm going to take that opportunity to love on them and to say thanks to them and to recognize them for that. So I'll be here next Sunday. Enjoy the mothers in your life. If you are a mother, early happy Mother's Day to you. Enjoy. Everyone spoiling you, right? And we will be meeting up the following Sunday, which is May 18th, right? At 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So we will be meeting up again. If there are any questions or anything, please drop that in and let me know if this was beneficial to you. As always, this is just my walk through the Bible. I had fun, right, y'all? Because a lot of times people are like, I don't know how to say no. I'm going to say yes. But look, your job is to practice saying no to preserve what God has entrusted to you. God entrusted you with some stuff. You got to preserve that. You have to learn to reframe the boundaries as a Christ like act of stewardship. And you have to discuss boundaries openly in trusted relationship and otherwise. So I'm going to be finalizing stuff here, y'all. So remember, my beautiful souls, that the wise virgin teach us that sometimes love and faithfulness looks like saying no. So may God grant us wisdom to set boundaries that honor Him, guard our hearts, and serve others from a place of readiness and joy. Right? So much, so much. Yes, a happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for the happy Mother's Day. And thank you, Angelica. Let's see here. Yes, let me get that there. Happy early Mother's Day. Yes, thank you so much for all your support. That's one of my moms right there. Thank you so much, my godmother. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you. And then, of course, for Charlotte, thank you all so much. Great perspective. Celebrate her legacy. Yes. When someone dies, and I'm going to do one on that. When someone dies, it's not always about being sad. It's just recognize what a blessing they have been in your life and to celebrate their legacy and pass that on, because I know I'm not going to be here forever. And so I want to be able to share the love and to share legacy. Look, I've gone over my time because this was such an awesome, awesome topic. Saying no can be so difficult, but saying no is spiritual. And so that being said, y'all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Happy early, early, happy Mother's Day. I'll see you on the 18th. Take care and God bless.